Hey, One Love Podcast, man.
Moving real fast, kinda feel I need to slow down. But I'm living a life, kinda living for the show now. As time goes by,
Hey, we said this.
but I'm still
Running from the issue. That shit was hard. I ain't gonna lie. When you said that shit, I was like, so many people now. Like, shit. The fact that you was at that stage, I played it up for a couple people. I ain't gonna lie.
As I drink away the pain, I start to hesitate. Was a love I clamored for too hard for me to take? Cause it gets hard when the rent's due, and I'm still running from the issue. Because I'm living up, it's kinda hard for me to slow down.
We back. Hold on. Right. Hey.
It's cool. I'm trying not to say too much. Shit.
You're recording right now.
Alright, well, you go ahead.
You gonna pause it?
Yeah, because now we're finna focus for real.
Hey.
Well,
Hey, we're finna get into the
live.
bag, man. One Love Podcast special guest, Filbert music, you know what I'm saying? Definitely tap in.
Yes, sir.
Real life. Doing big things, House of Blues.
Yeah, for sure, man.
You get what I'm saying?
You know,
Catch him on the guitar and the drums.
No doubt, bro. No doubt.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, man. Like I said, I'm honored to be here, bro. You know, y'all having me, man. It means a lot. You know, y'all, people, we got history. You know, I've been knowing them.
Facts.
for years. So it's good to just, be a part, man, and, you know what I'm saying, just join kind of what they got going on, man. It's definitely a dope podcast, dope environment, energy, and stuff like that
Yes.
going on, man. So, yeah, man, one love, bro.
One Love.
Blessed to have you on. Now,
Special guest.
let the
man.
people know right now.
Yeah.
How could they follow you right now?
Facts.
What's your platform? What you got?
Word up. So I'm primarily on Instagram, man. So you can follow me on Instagram at Filbert Music. And we'll get into the name, I'm sure, at some point.
Facts. That's what I've been curious the whole time.
Filbert Music, it's literally Filbert and then music, right next to each other. So you can follow me there. Also on iTunes, Spotify, just about every platform you can think of. My music is there. So you just same name, Filbert, and then it should pop up, man. So
Yeah. That's love, man.
Make sure y'all go show love.
dope.
Y'all know how to follow me, man. Dark Pounds, DarkLBS_DG.
Yes, indeed. You got Houdini at the 713. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
No, so that's real dot Houdini. That's real dot HUDENIN. Tap in all platforms. That's Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Maybe even catch me on the Facebook. You forget what I'm saying? Like all types. Yeah, man. So definitely to start it all out. You know what I'm saying? At what point in time and how did it feel when you realized that your passion was music and that's what you was here for?
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I would say for me, it honestly started really early on for me. You know, growing up, like obviously playing music. My brothers, I come from a musical family,
Right.
so I'm the youngest of four brothers, and all my brothers sing. Actually on the scene as well, doing their own thing, singing backgrounds for a lot of people.
Shout out to the brother.
Yeah, shout out to Wright brothers.
Man,
Yeah, Wright
bro,
brothers.
bro.
So, I'm a Wright brother too, man. And so, but they taught me a lot musically growing up. Actually, that's when my first instrument I learned was actually drums. So
Really?
yeah. So I learned drums, and when I was playing, I would play in church and stuff like that. Growing up in church, man, playing drums, man. And you know what I'm saying. And I came up and eventually learned bass guitar at about 13. I asked my mom, "Mama, let me get a bass, And she finally was like, yeah, all right, go ahead. And, got me a bass, and I just kind of took it, and I would practice every day, man. Like, that was kind of my outlet for a solid 3 years, man. I was just straight playing, like, when nobody was really hearing. And, I was trash. Like, I tell people all the time.
That's real, though. You gotta...
and most people don't talk about that aspect of it, but I think...
Especially when you get higher up. Like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because people only see you when you're good at a thing, man. But it's like, it's a process to building and getting to that point. And so for years, I literally just played just for fun, just to, release certain emotions, whatever it was, man. It was just kind of like an instrument for me to really be able to, like,
self-expression.
Express myself.
It's very important. So take a moment, you get what I'm saying, and acknowledge the importance of men in today's world having an outlet, you get what I'm saying, regardless if that's writing in a journal or a notebook, you get what I'm saying, if that's painting, if that's drawing, if that's having intellectual conversation, if that's retracing your steps and thoughts, you get what I'm saying, just something where you can trace your state of mind through the days. You know what I'm saying? It's real important. Yeah, like
absolutely.
Definitely having an my bad.
No, you good, bro.
definitely having an outlet. Once I realized that, like, even being in school, you get what I'm saying, and knowing, like, that I'm actually cold at writing essays, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then really taking into consideration different parts of writing impactful poem, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
then
sure.
It's like, man, I actually enjoy it. Like, I feel like something just was lifted off of me after I put that on that paper, you get what I'm saying? After I took those thoughts and I was able to see them.
Yeah. But that's where it stems from. I mean, that's what art really is having a vision and being able to bring it to life, and there's different avenues to be able to do that. But I think just that desire is kind of what makes people get into whether it's music, whether it's drawing, writing. It's just really the thought of having something that you, like, view as a dream, vision, and then seeing it come to life. That's just something that, it's the same reason why, obviously, a child being born is like a miracle, and people look at it as such a beautiful thing because it's like you have that vision of what it'll be like, and then it's brought to life. Right. And so to see something come to life is a beautiful thing, regardless of whatever you're doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you one thing.
All right.
Now, we'll take this back a little bit.
For sure, bro.
A little bit back to the high school days, where very few people remember. But
right.
I want to ask you this because I don't really hear this asked by too many people. So what impact do you think you being in a band in high school had on you with your music right now?
Word up. So for starters, I wasn't in band. Nah, not really.
That's crazy.
Wasn't in band at all, man. Although I will say, I almost was in jazz band. I went to about a rehearsal or two, and then I wasn't anymore. So outside of that, it kind of conflicted. I was really into sports in the high school, man. Like I'm gonna be honest. Well, I was still involved in the music because I always did music. It was more so out of school though. So it was like I did music and I didn't really talk too much about it. I carried myself humble in that regard. Facts. And I didn't just want to walk around, hey guys, I do music, I make music. And I never really beat myself over the chest about that. I really just kind of kept things like, yeah, I'm into sports, and I really wanted to grow in that avenue. But I think like in terms of music, I wasn't in band, although my dad was in band. He was like the drum captain back in the day. And all of that good stuff, like back in the day with he was doing drums or whatever for band, and he was really big in that. My brother as well. Yeah. But like for me, I kind of went a different route in terms of just learning instrumentation. Just outside of that, from YouTube, from having different mentors, different people that kind of helped me, whether it was in church or out of church, it kind of was something that I learned from a variety of different people. And it was something that, you know what I'm saying, I just kind of picked up along the lines, but yeah.
So when it comes to music, who are some of the people that you definitely see yourself blazing down that path?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a good question. I mean, like I love a lot of artists, man. Like I was big on Kendrick growing up. That was like my favorite artist, dude.
Okay, so I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's really a debate or argument, but Kendrick or Cole, man.
Kendrick or Cole? That's tough.
I already got my answer.
And personally, I say Kendrick. I'm gonna be honest with you. And
can I get that reason?
Yeah. So for me,
shout out to Reason.
Yeah.
I got it.
For me, I always been a Kendrick guy just because his art is very much so layered.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, not to say that Cole's isn't, because he
Facts.
is too, and he has a deep music catalog of a variety of different songs he could play. I just think that Kendrick kind of touched more aspects of art, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, just in my opinion, I feel like Kendrick is a little bit more expansive in terms of his versatility
Right.
and what he can do on a track. Because, like, with Cole, you kind of hear Cole coming, and it's like
Yeah.
he finna blaze his track, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it's like you hear him coming versus Kendrick, you never know what he's gonna come with on any given track. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I do.
That's crazy. You agree with me?
Yeah. I mean, but I see yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I see myself going down that same path to a certain extent, in a sense that like have been versatile. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your all right? So just let's picture the whole setting right now. Let's get everything right.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying. You come home from work or whatever, and you know what I'm saying. Got a little idea on your mind. Something that's been kind of bugging you for the past, whatever it is, day or so, and you feel like, all right, I want to write this down, or I want to spit this out. I want to create the song. What's your music process like?
Right.
What's your process behind going and creating music?
Right. So for me, my process it's different every time. I would say. So like sometimes it's thinking up, and sometimes it starts wherever I'm at. Like I could be at work or whatever. I could be doing this or doing that, and I just have my voice memos, and I just like, man, I just thought about something
Telling
crazy.
you.
Go straight to my voice memos. Boom. I'm immediately just thinking of a melody, or sometimes it's the beat. Sometimes like beatbox. Sometimes it's the lyrics or the chorus or just the verse. But I record it and get my thoughts down, and then when I get home, of course I play with that. I go home to my actual workstation and kind of and this is a producer tip for certain people, but in terms of like sometimes I would beatbox in terms of like the whole beat and sequence. So I would beatbox everything. And actually Timbaland, shout out Timbaland, talked about that where he would literally beatbox like.
So do you make your own beats?
Yeah, make my own beats.
What? That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I gotta give you some on that.
Nah, bro, for sure.
You gotta give you some with that one.
Nah, bro. You good, bro?
So,
Man,
mad respect, man.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely.
bro, shit.
Nah, for sure, bro. I definitely make my own beats, man. And that's something that I take pride in. But it started for me as a producer, man. It started for me as a producer.
What?
Yep.
Who you was producing for? You just producing for
myself.
Okay.
Nah, that's where it started. I would produce for myself, but of course, over time, I started to produce for different artists, different people,
Right.
and it kind of just grew. You know what I'm saying? From there, I would produce for. Now I'm producing for different up and coming artists in the city, different people that just overall like. You know what I'm saying? It's up and coming, and even more established people are starting to reach out to me, man, and it's been really cool. So. You know what I'm saying? I can see it snowballing a little bit at this
Right.
particular point, and I'm grateful for that.
For real,
But it's just about
always.
staying the course, yeah.
So, how has that process been for you? Just coming from where you come from to now, you're starting to get a little bit more status in the city of Houston, one of the biggest cities in the world, really.
Word up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I would definitely say it's so for me. I got connected to a lot of people at an earlier age just because of my involvement in music. Particularly in the church scene. I mean, that was something that really kind of started and catapulted everything. Because a lot of people don't know it's really a training ground for a lot of musicians, man. That's household names. A lot of people started off in church, man, because it requires
Didn't
number one.
Beyonce start?
Yeah, I mean, at some point she
Myself
started
included,
there. A lot of people. So it was one of those things that they started off there, and you know what I mean, because a lot of the stuff that you sing in church, a lot of stuff is difficult to play. Being quite honest.
That is right.
And so a lot of that, it just made me better, and it got me better. So I say that to say I got connected to a lot of people, and one particular person, my bro Ben, shout out to Benji Music. Yeah, I got connected to him,
Shout
and that's
out Benji Music.
yeah. and I got connected to him, and he really started to impart wisdom into me from like a being on the scene. He's been there and done that. In terms of all of the shows and all of the different things that you could do, and he really kind of helped, guide me in going about business the right way, and that's really what helped me when I would start to play in these R&B scenes, when I started to play for these different artists, how to go about being a professional, being on time, being diligent, learning my music, making sure I do, practice doing your homework, right? I mean, that's in everything that you do,
Right.
Is how much do you do it when you don't have to do it?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right. That's big.
Yeah.
Very
So that was something that I learned, and so, but he connected me to a lot of other people. My bro Jay Bates, big bro, he played for Mariah Carey, the drummer. Shout out to it's a lot of people on the scene, man, and this is again a big city, so it's some respectable names that they've kind of introduced me to, man. And I could go on and on about different musicians,
Right.
but I don't want to name too many because it's a lot. But
Okay,
a
so
lot of people. Yeah.
one of the things that you had mentioned was the show.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what was it like doing your first show?
Yeah.
Official.
Man, my first show, I'm gonna be honest, man. I wasn't as nervous as most people typically are personally. And I say that because church is kind of, and it's not a show.
Hold
I don't
on.
view that as a
though.
church.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know there are shows that you do.
Yeah.
That's like the first show,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about the first official. Like,
The first time
this
we
is
played
like
out.
this on concrete, like real deal. It's written in the cosmos. This happened. You get what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
what was that one like?
Man, it was nerve. I mean, to be honest, it was nerve wracking, man.
There we go. You know what I'm saying? So
No,
let's.
and that's really
So
what
where
it's-
was it?
Yeah. Again, it was at church, man. And that's just my story. Like, because, I played, so I grew mainly in the church circuit first, playing different people for
Right.
this church and then for eventually bigger churches and stuff like that. And that was a journey in itself. I would say from about 14 to 16, 17 years old. That was when I was really playing. By 16, 17, I was playing for some bigger churches, and that's when professionalism came into play. That's when being on time and all that stuff really started to come into play, and the more bigger financial opportunities would come about. It would kind of make me, what I'm saying? It would be a test for like where I am professionally and where I am musically and all of that good stuff. So it was a different level. So I never forget probably the first time I really felt like my heart was gonna fall out my ass. It was number one.
My heart.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I felt like my heart was finna fall out. That was
Right.
that was the first time I played in church. I never forget the first time I played bass in church. Drums I've been playing all my life, so that was a little bit more normal. But the first time I played church bass, and I never forget this particular Sunday. It was packed, like everybody was in that joint, and I was just playing. It was a real simple song, "Your presence is heaven." And I mean, I'll never forget that moment, just because that was like the first song I played, and it was just like I was so proud of. Again, when we talk about vision, seeing that vision come to life of me playing, like, man, because when you learn an instrument, you oftentimes think about the vision of like, man, of where you want to be, and that's what makes you start to do it even when you're not good. You know what I'm saying? Because you see where you want to be, where you're destined to be. So sometimes you get in that mode, especially when you first start, of like I'm playing as I'm already cold, like you know what I'm saying? And that helps you to still love it. Because when you look at it like a mountain to climb, then you'll put it down. That's how a lot of people stop learning things, stop learning
That
instruments.
is very true.
Yeah, because they feel like, man, this is just it's too hard, because they look at it as a mountain climb instead of saying, if I could get to this rock, then I could get to this rock, and if I could get to this rock, then I could get to this rock, and eventually, you look down and I'm at the top of the mountain, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I've just taken it one rock at a time.
That's deep.
Like I need to. So it was really about setting small goals, and really kind of when I reached that goal, man,
That
okay,
compound
what's
interest
something else
over
I can learn?
time.
Right. I will learn simple songs. Okay, well then that's great. What else can I learn? And learned that song. What else can I learn? Learned this song, and eventually became fluent musically and being able to express myself musically.
So, what's some tips? So, I don't know if y'all know, but I performed one time. And he
No,
performed
no.
on the same night.
Something slight, you get what I'm
something
saying.
slight,
No,
yeah,
bro.
but,
Nothing
it
crazy.
was an interesting experience. But
Thanks.
just doing it one time. Like we haven't done it multiple times, but we want to ask you, for those artists out there, you know what I'm saying, who might be a little bit nervous going on to that first experience,
Right.
and they might encounter this situation during performance. How do you deal with like mess-ups during the performance when you getting your little
Especially on the instrument. What
Yeah.
that's like.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So that's a good one. Yeah. So man, so this actually goes into what I was talking about before too, about the first time me playing. So this was the first time I played for a mega church.
Right.
And this was something that was like huge for me. I was just like, it was the first time I played for a big event. And you know, when you playing for stuff like that, like I was in a sound system where it had like inner ears and stuff like that, and it was like an inner ear system where basically you don't see the earphones, but they wearing them, and it's like kind of behind your ears, and it's like so you don't have an amp, so you don't necessarily feel what you're playing, so you really have to basically have to know what you're doing, know what you're playing, and you can hear yourself, but it's not like you really feel it. So if you mess up, you're not going to. It's not going to be as prevalent to you as it really is in the house.
Everybody
You
else.
feel me? Because it's a big sound system. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was something that. So I'll say that to say I went in there, you know, kind of half-assed a little bit. I knew some of the songs, but I would do that thing where I would listen to like the first couple 30 seconds of I know it. Okay, the next 30 seconds I don't know it. And it was one song that bit me in the ass because it had a different part in the middle of the song that I didn't know. And I assumed that I knew it. So when that time came, they was going over it in sound check. I'm just playing, okay, it's going good, whatever. And they go into this other part, and it's complex and all this, and all that shit. So they playing, and I just was like, oh shit, and I just stopped playing. And that was the first time I really learned about like being professional, because I was so embarrassed to not know. And even during the actual service, I messed up on something as well. And I was so embarrassed, and it really kind of, I went home, you know what I mean, just like obviously discouraged behind that, but it was something that the leader, shout out Jared Miller, he was another inspiration to me, man, Jared Miller, but he basically kind of told me, like, every time you come in, man, just come in professional, because you never know who is watching, you never know who is learning, and learning from your example, man. And so that was a big moment for me, a life-changing moment for me, and I took everything serious from that point on, and I learned my music and all that. So
Okay, so there's something
that
I
was
gotta
my first
ask you.
mix-up, though. Yeah.
Outside of all the music, you get what I'm saying? So I got this idea. It's gonna like compound over time, and it's like when you hear One Love, what do you think about?
Right. You mean like the term? It just
No, like so just be like, whenever I hear One Love, and then just whatever come to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, love is singular. I think it's just dispensed in different ways.
I like that.
Yeah. For so, love is love. I mean, but the way that it's dispensed is different depending on the person that you're talking about. Like, I don't love my mom the same way I would love my brothers.
Hey, you know who Mick Jenkins is?
Huh?
You know who Mick Jenkins is?
Nah, I don't actually.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
man.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of people, so.
So look, Mick Jenkins, he got this album. It's been out like I was this way back in like middle school. Type. It's called THC.
Uh-huh.
And it's, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? THC, the healing component.
Right.
And he got a song in there called Drowning. But there's like these skits in between the songs, and they was basically discussing love. And one of the things is like, you can't love someone different, but then there's a counter argument saying that you can. And it's like, okay, I would do the same for this, and I said, but it's like,
Right. And I think that the problem people run into was love. And this is why people deal with hurt and pain, is because they go into things thinking that they know that they are supposed to love a person, but they get confused with how they're supposed to dispense that love with that person.
I want you to say that one more time for him again.
to the camera, to the
One
camera.
more time, man.
No, so like they know that they have love for somebody, but yet they confuse how to dispense that love.
Right.
So essentially, you know you're supposed to love somebody, but then you get confused with saying, okay, I love you, but it's not, you know, or it's supposed to be in just a what's the word I'm looking for? A platonic way,
Right.
but yet you take it in a way that's, you know, love. Like you mean that you think that y'all supposed to be together, and then that's how a lot of confusion happens, because it's still love, and so it's just dispensed in a different way. It's meant to be dispensed in a different way for different people. So I think that just comes with discernment and wisdom. When you talk about love, it all kind of goes together with understanding how to dispense that love for certain people. But I think you should be filled with love, period, in everything that you do. Same thing with things, like loving a certain thing, how you like go about loving that thing. Is it damaging to you? Because if it's damaging to you, then it's not love. I can just tell you that now. And that's with people, and that's with things. Because, yeah, even if you feel pleasure from it, pleasure and love is two different things. Something that I love can bring me pleasure, but not everything that I find pleasure in is actually loving.
Right.
right? Because deceit is a very real thing.
Yeah, so for the men out there, just because she good to you, don't mean she good for you.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
bro. Exactly. Yeah, facts. Like that's a big principle. Like that.
Right.
That's key, man. Just because somebody is you know what I'm saying, making you feel a certain way, that's pleasure, and you take pleasure in that. And there's nothing wrong with taking pleasure in things or in people, but you have to know the difference between that and love, because sometimes love is uncomfortable.
Right. Whoa.
You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you tell somebody something out of love, and it's something they don't want to hear, but it's love that drives you to tell them that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So knowing how to dispense love is knowing to be balanced in love.
Okay, so
You know what I'm saying?
because
Not to be any one way.
Yeah.
whenever we get in these conversations, like a lot of information get dumped.
Yeah.
Right? And so us in conversation, but to the listener, like they may hear certain terms and then try to like use context clues.
Right.
So when you say to dispense,
Right.
let's dive a
I get
little
you.
more into like just give a
Yeah, that was a good. So to dispense essentially just means how I push it out or how I show or display something. Just think about what a dispenser is, right? You put a quarter in it.
We here
you
now.
know, and right, it comes out. So it's just about how that love comes out to you. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is, how do I show that I love you? Is it in a romantic way? Is it in a platonic way? Is it in a way that I just check up on you here and there? Is it in a way that I talk to you every day? And that's something that is very direct, and you have to just have discernment with that one person in communication and
All
again
right.
wisdom and all of that. Yeah.
Facts. So one of the things that I kind of run into in terms of like certain type of, I'm gonna say girls, because to me they ain't women at that moment. Like if they saying something like, what's your love language?
Right.
And then they were like, okay, it's 3 different types of, and I'm like, clearly you don't understand something type shit. And I'll say that simply because they try to turn it into like a step-by-step booklet type shit.
Right.
Of like, okay, this is this, and okay, so you are, and then it's like, damn, kind of
Right.
take out the whole human emotional intelligence. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. I mean, when people ever ask me that, I just be like, all of them. Like, like how am I supposed to answer that? Like, I
Right.
want you to do all that.
I like
You
that.
know
I
what I'm saying? Like, why I gotta choose?
I ain't never
How
heard
you-
that before.
You feel me, bro?
that's
Like,
hard right there.
why I gotta choose how you gonna love me, bro? Like, if you love me, show me that you love me in different ways, and learn me enough to know what I like. I don't want to have to tell you what I like.
So
Yeah.
what's some
Well, I
game?
mean, in some ways, but it just depends.
So what's some game that you would give to people out here? You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone. I mean, everyone is going to say that they love.
Free game.
In fact, everybody's going to say that they love.
Right.
But at the end of the day, all love is not equal.
You're right.
So how let me not say how. What game would you give to people who out here who's filled with love and they might be looking for love in the wrong guy?
Right.
In
I
the
see what
wrong
you're saying.
guy.
Yeah, in the wrong guy.
They're looking for love in the wrong, places and people and
Right.
Like a bar, motherfucker
Yeah.
party. You get what I'm saying? Go to a
I would
library.
say- so you were just saying like what game would I give to somebody that you would say like is giving love to the wrong thing? I would say the way that love is genuine and real
To
is, yeah, to you is to you judge a tree by the fruit that it bears.
Oh,
Right? That's the best way I can put it. That's
crazy.
And you can be inside the song, right?
Yeah, no, bro. I mean, it's truth. I mean, it really is truth. You judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, and that's in everything in life. I think that's something that's very key. Like when you understand, essentially, because that's something I struggle with too. Is like when people show me all of these different qualities and all these things, it can be confusing because it's like, man, I feel like this is somebody like they love me. They tell me they love me. They show me that they doing things for me.
Right.
Now, the way that you show that is, are you bringing me discomfort? Are you bringing me hurt, pain? This, you know what I'm saying? Because in that regard, it's not love. It's just they'll do things to cover up the pain that they're bringing to you. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
for sure.
And that's not love. Versus love is bringing actual peace to you and bringing actual growth to you.
Right.
Because
Facts,
remember,
facts,
I told
facts,
you,
facts.
love is not always, patty cake, and sometimes that's a red flag. If
Alright.
if all of their love is just gumbos and
Facts.
yeah.
So
Or
peep
whatever you
this.
want to say.
In these moments, you get what I'm saying, or like people taking what's being said and then assessing their life and assessing their habits and their relationships with different people, whether it be friends or like, you get what I'm saying, an intimate relationship with a counterpart. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They gonna step back for a moment, but it's important that you take in consideration of how you perceive love in that moment,
Yeah.
and how you first was introduced to love, whether that was through family or friends. You get what I'm saying? Because that's gonna play a big role in the next decisions you make with the information that was just given.
For sure. For sure, man. No, I mean, for sure, bro.
Gotta double back on that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, but it's true, man. And I think I love what you said about foundation. I mean, because everything is subject to the foundation that it's built on, right? So if I build a house uneven and unbalanced,
I love
the
it.
house itself will be unbalanced when the storm comes.
I love
It may
it.
stand up when things are good.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But when the storm comes, it's gonna knock it right
The
down.
wind blowing real hard.
Because the foundation wasn't laid right. And I say that to say that's the same in relationships. If the foundation of its in and of itself is toxic, we came about in a way that is not right, in
From
a
your
way
mother.
that's not okay, or our relationship is built on arguing and built on taking advantage of each other, right? However,
Your father.
in whatever way you get money from me, I'm smashing like. So it's like, if it's built off of that, then when you
siblings.
finally reach tribulations, you will never know how to get through it, because y'all didn't build the relationship to survive storms. Y'all built it to compensate for whatever issues y'all both got.
Or even just the past time.
So y'all crutching on each other, leaning on each other, but
Facts.
y'all both never gonna be able to walk.
So there's
So
people.
knock y'all both down. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people like in today's world just kind of make friends on the fly, and then it die within like the next month type shit.
Right.
And then they be like, oh, so it's a lot of females, like that's one of the red flags to all the guys out there, you know what I'm saying? Even if you're looking out for women, it's the same thing with men. Like if they got friends and then they replace a whole group of friends within 2 months, like, bro,
red flag.
stay away from them type shit. Like they have no type of consistency, they have no morals, principles, ethics. Like you don't want to be with them.
Those be the same type people who that situation might happen 7 times in a row, but they gonna blame the other people.
Facts.
And they not gonna look in the mirror and be like, damn, this shit happened with me to this such and such,
Right.
and this next group of people, and this, but the whole time it was them. It wasn't ever you.
Right. That's facts. Like, and yeah, like you said, man. Like, it's sometimes, man, people, they have a way of blinding like their own actions, man. Just by thinking that things don't apply to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, well,
It's being in it.
right. It's like you want everybody to love you a certain way, but you're mean. You hard to talk to. You don't dispense love in a certain way. I'm a big believer in you reap what you sow. I mean, you can call it what you want, karma, whatever you want to call it, but you reap what you sow, man. I mean, at the end of the day. And the truth is, it's like, you know what I'm saying, that there's a fine line between knowing, like, in order to be a friend, you have to show yourself as a friend, right? That's the
Not
first-
just show, you have to be.
Actually,
You have to
Come on now,
be.
let's get into it. Let's get
You
into
know what
it.
I'm saying? Facts. Like you just have to be that, man. But it comes from not depending on somebody to love you,
right.
right?
Right? Not expecting anything for the actions you take.
Right. And coming with, I tell people all the time, a problem that people make in relationships and specific too is they'll come thinking that it's 50-50. Relationships are not supposed to be 50-50.
I'm glad we on the same page.
You get what I'm saying? Relationships are to be 100-100. So I'm coming as a whole person, already established and not needing to depend on you, because even if we make each other happy and we complete each other, quote unquote, that's what a lot of people 50-50 try to say, we complete each other. The problem is, what if I don't have my 50 that day?
Right. It's a problem.
Right now
Okay.
you're struggling. Now we're both struggling.
Facts. So when you say like that 50-50, like there's something that if I meet a woman and I kind of look at her, it's like I don't really know what she at mentally. One of the things that I ask is like, have you ever heard of people having a hole inside of them? And what they do with the hole is they try to fill it. But
Right.
the hole is actually to be filled with more of themselves. Like that's a part of them that they gotta discover. You get what I'm saying? But they try to find in everybody else.
Now for
So-
real, yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Bro.
In those moments of like a 50-50, you get what I'm saying? Whenever you not, that's whenever what's happening is your hole is not getting filled.
Yeah.
Or something's being pulled out of you and you feel like incomplete now. That's why it's important that you come complete. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, man. Yes, yes.
Self-reflecting.
In those times of hardship, you get what I'm saying, or just a rocky road, maybe some arguments and whatnot. Like you ain't gonna be able to withstand it. You like shit. I ain't getting all of what I'm used to because it's not within you already.
Because it really builds selfishness. When you rely on each other, it builds and it breeds selfishness because it's like, okay, well, you know, if you don't have, you know, something, you're not doing something for me, then it's like I feel like, oh, I need to find somebody else that's going to do that for me. And because that shows that the foundation y'all built y'all whole relationship on was to depend on each other. So when something stormy happens, and again that person is not there for that safety line, I was like, now I'm incomplete, and now I feel like you did me a disservice. You know what I'm saying? And that's how people butt heads when they have those dependency relationships, because it's just like, well, you know, you're not bringing your end of the table or whatever, but it's like, no, why do I have to? They get tired because it's like you're relying on me and using me as a crutch. It's pulling me, and both people are pulling down each other versus everybody being able to be, again, like you said, feel, you know what I'm saying, and finding genuine purpose and happiness and satisfaction and not viewing, not, you know, going into the partner for validation and making them, and validate means to make real or to make whole. So in other words, validation is you can be trying to find validation in a relationship too, and trying to find a partner that makes you feel whole and makes you feel like, okay, somebody likes me, so that means that I'm you know, okay, and I'm acceptable for people in people's eyes. When really that was always the case. You just, something happened that really showed you that about yourself, and that was something that you should have seen within yourself already.
So I want to ask you this: within your whole, let's say your whole career being an artist so far, with all of the music that you made, have you noticed that that the songs that you maybe felt more passion, it was a little more pain inside, was more successful than the songs that didn't?
Heck yeah. I mean, Slow Down was kind of a song like we were just talking about. Like, that was one of them joints. There's a couple joints, remember on that mixtape I was telling y'all about, Beautiful Prison. Also, the one that Slow Down was on. Slow Down was no, I don't think it was. No, it was on Beautiful Prison. No, it was on Mysteries of the World. I'm sorry, it was on Mysteries of the World. That was the mixtape that one was on. But yeah, like in terms of
how many mixtapes you got?
I got 2 mixtapes. So one is, I mean, I call it mixtape. It's about 11 songs. That's Beautiful Prison. And one is on, well, they're both on YouTube, and then one is called Mysteries of the World. And
Definitely tap in, man.
Yeah. That's my OG stuff, man. Like, yeah, I mean, and I'm finna drop a lot of new music. So of course y'all tap in, man, whenever that comes out. And I got all that stuff is on YouTube. And it'll be on SoundCloud soon to come as well. But all my music is
on all other platforms.
All platforms.
See, I told you. That's all right.
Lit. So, but to answer your question, bro, a lot of pain went into a lot of songs, and songs that I'm still recording, songs that just because that's life, man. Like, and art and music to me is a way to express myself in another way. You know what I'm saying? It's just a way to express myself, man. And so obviously, the more real that you are, of course, the more genuine and real that it's going to be felt in your songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got a question, and it's kind of related to things we saying, but it's like going back to your creative process.
Yeah.
So I think it really come down to how well you know yourself as an individual.
Right.
But it's related to food and the creative process. So how big of a role does food play in like you making?
Yeah, that was a good question, bro. Yeah.
Because it's all connected. You got
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. Me personally, not too much. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I love to eat. Yes, it may not look like it, but I do.
But I do.
Yeah, but I do.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know. But nah, man, like, yeah, I mean, I love to eat, but it's not like a particular food jogs a certain.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like,
idea.
like me personally,
Like, man, I think of trap music when I eat hot dogs.
no, I'm saying,
Like, damn, let me eat some hot dogs today. Like,
I'm saying like, there are certain, like, let's say you record at this point in time, or you wake up and you doing whatever routines, your rituals and whatnot, and then you say, oh, I'm gonna make some music today, and at that moment you got set in time when you're gonna make that music. up until that point, how are you prepping down to like when you eat and what you eat?
I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, it just depends on each particular idea, whatever I'm thinking about, and how I approach that recording session. Like sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I don't eat. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's not in the cookie cutter in the box of like I got to do this before I go and record, because sometimes it's sporadic. Like I think of an idea sometimes 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning, and I get up, go jump at my little workstation, just put it down.
Ain't
put
nothing
something
little
down.
about it, you feel me?
No, I mean it's my little setup. I mean,
Humble
like,
ass,
just
man.
think
Come on
about
now.
the vision though. Think about the vision though. You know what I'm saying? Where it's gonna be. It's little now, but I say that to say, man, that's so sometimes it's out of the box of what you know what I'm saying, and that's every artist will probably tell you that they don't necessarily just I record at this time. That more so comes the more
facts.
established you become, where you got this engagement and this engagement, so you have to have a certain schedule to say this is when I record. I'm at a point where I had the luxury to be able to record whenever I want to do, and I always want to have that luxury actually.
Yeah, it's definitely something to hold on to.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. The freedom of creating, creating what's on my heart. You know what I'm saying? So
Are you into any other arts?
yeah, I love art. Period. Like, I love fashion. That's a big thing for me. That's why I've been trying to keep my page fashion friendly in the sense of like what I have on, very intentional. I'm always very intentional with like I don't know, just everything in terms of fashion and art, and then drawing. I love to draw. I actually used to do rodeo art back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember that.
What?
Davis have his hang up and all that.
right.
So I did rodeo art, and I did one of them joints that was like on the wall too. It was pretty cool. But I just love to draw other stuff and stuff like that. Haven't really in some years now, but I love it though. It's nothing I don't like, and writing is big for me. I love to write too, man. So everything that you could think of that's having a vision, bringing it to life, I love it. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself? All right, so next 5 years, all right. So, and I'm saying this for you for manifestation purposes, and just
Yeah.
You ain't gotta reveal
Yeah,
too
right.
much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
in the next 3 to 5 years,
Right.
where do you see yourself, and what impact do you want to leave on music? As far as nowadays, it's so much killing, and everybody want to be
Yeah.
so gangster. Everybody want to, I'm trap star, I'm all this, I'm that. But at the end of the day, people getting locked up. Everybody catching RICO charges.
Right.
People going,
Nah, for real. I think like to answer your question with that, like I want to make an impact of people knowing that I was me. Like
That's
I was-
real.
I'm Filbert at the end of the day, man, and I'm
Facts,
myself, and I think that was something that I was very I learned to be very proud of, man, and not trying to be like everybody else. And as far as my art, man, I'm very big on leaving a positive impact. And a lot of my songs, I don't talk about a lot of crazy shit. I mean, I could, but I don't, because again, it's about leaving an impact with my words and with my message. Every song is very intentional.
Facts.
And even if I talk about things of that nature, it's 9 times out of 10 I'm relating it to an artistic meaning and a reason. You know what I'm
Pierce
saying?
intention.
Yeah, it's with
Okay.
pure intentions, man. And music is all about intentionality. There's times where people talk about things that sound appealing to the ear or whatever, but it's really not good. Like
Yup.
man, like it was one song, and I need you, that little beef song, right? With a Young and Ace, and that was a big one that they talk about. That's just an example. But yeah, man, that's definitely the
Okay,
case.
so I have 2 questions, and one of them is gonna be about your name.
Yeah.
So we're gonna first I'm gonna ask you. We're gonna hold that one for right now. You go say
Word up.
But I want to ask you, like, you're currently independent. Okay, so the real question is just, would you go into a record deal?
Right.
And yeah, like contracts and things of that nature.
Yes, I'm not opposed to it. I know some people are completely against it. Like, man, no.
Yeah, we already.
And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty much against it as well. I'm against certain things. So, for example,
Ownership.
All right, I'm against So ownership, I would, and it's all conditional. So I'm against people taking my creative control.
Right.
I'm big on being able to create what I want to create. That's in my heart, not being boxed in.
And also them royalties.
And
though.
then royalties, of course, man. I'm big on all of those things. Really making sure that I have ownership of what I make. Have something that my kids can eat on, their kids can eat on, and just really making sure that like You know what I'm saying? I have freedom in that regard, but at the same time, I'm not dependent on the label. So that's something that I'm working towards now in my independency, where I can build my own following, I can build my own everything, my own platform, my own company, my own everything that I would really need, a production company, all of that I would really need before going into these meetings. Because when you go into those meetings so dependent, that's how you get ripped off. Because then they saying, well, you need us. You have 500 followers, and at the end of the day,
That's some game
gonna,
right there.
so you're gonna have to take this this 10% royalties, if that, maybe 5%, and it's
Right.
$100,000, and we gonna use you for about a good 4 years. And
You got any offers?
no,
Next question. That's my next question. Well, you know, if you don't want to,
Yeah, we can cut this
don't want
I'm saying it's definitely something that like I said, I do consider. You know, it's just it has to make sense though, for sure. So yeah, but you know, I'm big on again independency and maintaining my own message, which is the I actually funny that you say one love. My message is live out love.
Facts.
That's
You gotta
something
live through
something that I
love.
live out. Love is something that you live out, and not just with a person, but it's something that starts here. And that's a part. When we were talking about the dependency thing, it all ties back into that where, you know, you don't have to depend on somebody when you live out love and you're the love dispenser, right? So that means that you're filled with love at all times, and yeah, that's a big thing for me, and that's something I live by. But yeah, so we was talking about I'm sorry, I got
Your name. Let's get into your name.
the name.
Yeah. So the name, so Filbert, right? So a lot of people ask me this, and at first, I'm gonna be honest, I used to hate this name. I used to be like, when people used to call me Filbert, I used to be like, because it's actually a family nickname that started. Now I'm gonna give you the origin of it real quick. The name started when I was born. Literally the same day I was born, they started calling me Filbert, and it never left. So this is the story that my mom and all my siblings and everybody's told me, is that when I was born, my mom called me Filbert first. She had my name. My name is Devian. Of course, that's my actual name.
Shout out, mom.
Yeah, shout out mama. Yeah,
Mom, dude.
my name is Devian. But Filbert is a nickname that was always attached to it. That's not even my middle name. Most people think it's my middle name or some kind of name.
It's like almost
It's a whole different name. Yeah, it's a whole different name. So
That's pretty cool.
she called me Filbert randomly, you know, so to speak, and she kind of like thought about it from Filbert being actually the name of a tree that hazelnuts come from. So it's actually like a hazelnut tree or a nut, you know. Right. Another thing too is actually Filbert, the origin of it. It actually means oval paintbrush as well. It's an oval paintbrush.
What?
Yeah.
This man was destined to be a
You get what I'm
creative
saying?
artist. You feel me?
Art, you're right. Art. It's art brush, and it also means very bright in French. It also means it's a word that means very bright, or German rather, very bright. And so it's like a certain type of paintbrush. It means very bright, and it also is a tree that bears, you know, fruit basically, which is hazelnut in that regard, or nuts of different kinds. So I say that to say, when my mama thought about that name when she saw me, and literally my granny from my mom's side, I never forget that she said that she came in and actually called me that same name. Now, mind you, this is not a common word. This is not something that people say all the time. Yeah, Filbert. People don't even use this word, especially in the States.
We
but-
didn't even ask you, man. Where you from? Like,
I'm from here, man. I was born and raised in Eggleston, so that was where I grew up, like, in some of the worst neighborhoods in the city. But, you know, I will say I grew up there,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying? But I was blessed to have a good family, a stable household within that. So it kept me level, and you know, obviously it was like we had a great home, so we was in the hood but not of the hood. If that makes
hey,
sense.
that's hard. So,
what I'm saying?
where your people from? You know?
Now my dad originally, like, some of his people was from LA, but he came here around 4 or 5 years old or something like that, and so, you know, he's been here. So like my mom is from like the country here, from Carter, Texas.
Yeah, I know that.
So, yeah, right there by Louisiana. So she's right there from Carter, Texas, and all that good stuff, man. And they end up coming to Houston at some point in her life, so they kind of met in Houston to my parents, and then, you know, we was born. First thing I know, I'm born in Acres Home, so, you know what I'm saying? And then I grew up there, and around, you know, when I was going in 7th grade, we ended up having to move, and that's actually a whole story in itself too, where, you know, I was tough. It was tough for me having to move from people that I knew, and because a lot of people were struggling growing up where I grew up, and you know what I'm saying, we understood each other, and it was something that people. And then so when I went to specifically Bamos, right, you know, right,
It's crazy,
you
right
know what I'm
here.
saying?
You
Yeah.
feel me?
So like, so I went to Bamo, you know what I'm saying, and literally at Bamo they like. I noticed a lot of kids. They had iPhones, they had the shoes, they had all the extra stuff, man. And I'm coming from nothing. I don't got no phone. I got some busted shoes. I don't really know nobody, and I only knew 2 people. You know, shout out Ash.
Hey, busted shoes in middle school is
Yeah, for real, bro. It was
talking about some
reality.
Converse, talking sock hanging
Man,
out.
what?
the
Hey, talking.
At PE, I was still giving them buckets though.
Oh, exactly. Like I'm giving them straight buckets. Like, but it was just one of them things where it was at first people would try to pick on me and try to make fun of me and stuff like that, man. And so it was like a reality. You know what I'm saying, shift in that regard, because it was just like, man, like, it's just so different. Even though because where I'm from, people accepted me as I was, and they didn't kind of judge me like, man, oh, look at them busted shoes, whatever. And I always was one of them. Growing up, I was one of them kids that like to John and stuff, and get on people's ass. So you kind of know a little bit. I used to get on people's ass like, man, give me a good check, like, what? You nasty.
All right.
All that stuff.
So I got a question. Like when you get further into your career, you know, like all artists or anybody that create anything, you kind of reach a point where, like, when you create it, sometimes you can be a little too far gone in terms of just looking for something new and you know what I'm saying, trying to create that feeling of, like, you know,
I get you. Oh yeah,
that liberation. So in a lot of the times, people would go back to like their roots.
Yeah.
So what would you start?
Yeah, I would say, like for me, sometimes I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes I write songs from a place that I've been in before, but not still currently in.
I do that.
Right, and that's what it takes sometimes in art. We don't always go through stuff. I mean, let's be honest. Like sometimes we don't always go through heartbreaks and stuff. But
You got it.
as creatives, you have to know how to write from that place. I mean, that's your moneymaker at the same time. So it's all about knowing how to write from that place, knowing how to really branch out, like, and just kind of be able to pull from different emotions and different feelings. Empathy is the word. Being able to feel what somebody else feels, right, and write a song about it. That's how people can write songs about oppression as a whole and write songs about gonna make a change, right? That was more so talking about the world. So it's kind of like a thing of being empathetic, and sometimes songs come from that feeling more so than actually dealing with that. Because I mean, Michael Jackson was filthy rich writing that song, but at the same time, let's be honest, but
That's some game, though.
you know what I'm saying? No, for real. But at the
was
same
taking
time, he had to put himself in those shoes. I mean, he went to Africa and the kids and stuff. But like, he had to
Damn,
put himself.
that's a
He had to
deep
put
cut,
himself in
bro.
those shoes
That's a deep
because
cut.
you know what I'm saying. So he could actually push out that art.
So I want to ask you this, and I was literally just asking. I was just asking Harold. It's a little bit off topic, but
Yeah, you good.
it's kind of the same. So a little bit before you came, I asked him if staying in America is worth it. Is it worth the stress? And now I said that because specifically whenever you brought up Michael Jackson, I thought of the fact that this Michael Jackson, like, you know what I'm saying? He got the Right, so it's like, you know what I'm saying, you got all of the legendary Michael Jackson, the whole status, everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was still something inside of him that wasn't happy.
Right.
Because whenever he had to come home, he was taking propofol. He was taking all of the strongest, like the heaviest of acids on the pH scale. They're gonna be 3.
They up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
it's like-
He was doing drugs for sure.
I ask you
I didn't know that.
two,
Shout out Michael, man.
Yeah.
2 questions. Do you feel like it's worth it? And my next question is gonna be, what have you learned overall from music? Like,
Right. That's
Up until this point, because you're still learning. You're
Yeah,
just
I'm
always,
never
you're student
stressed.
that
I'm
bitch. Shout out Nip.
Yeah, no doubt. To answer your first question, I would be lying if I said I didn't believe it was worth it to stay in the States. And here's why. The States obviously have a lot of
It's
great-
worth the stress.
It's worth it. Let's just be honest. I mean,
It's
it's
fact.
better this than to be overseas and you see what happened to Brittany Griner. I mean, anywhere else. I mean, there's always something else. So my thing is, man, I think it's worth it in that regard. The commodities that come with being in the States, it is still a great country. I always tell people when people get too far into the whole, forget America. Like, yes, I agree. I feel like they've done our people wrong for sure, man. Like they've done a lot of people wrong, not just the black people. A lot of people a lot of different groups of type of people, all this stuff, and and people in America have dealt with that, but at the same time, and still healing from that stuff. But at the same time, man, this country, we have a lot of freedoms. We're able to, you're able to serve any God and not get killed. You're able to literally have jobs, and people don't talk about the commodities of it because they're so hell bent on the hell. I mean, they're so stuck on the pain that and the trauma, really, that everything that we've been through, that our people been through, and all of that. But it's like at a certain point, you have to learn how to not live in trauma. You have to learn how to take advantage of where the dispensation of time that we're in.
Right. Got that.
That's a huge thing. Learning how to take advantage of this time and moment instead of being so caught up in like this happened and so this is why everything is broken and everything is corrupt and everything. Yeah. And yes, it is. But at the same time, focusing on that does you no good.
Right.
Facts, man.
At all. So it's all about making do with what you got. That's something that I learned from growing up and coming up from nothing. It's like making do what I had. My first recording studio was literally a broke iPhone 5S that I would put to a little Casio keyboard.
I'm fucking with that one.
I promise you, bro. Like, and people tell you, I made songs with that setup and just recording on the phone. Like, and people would see my passion. Somebody actually blessed me with my first recording stuff because they seen my passion and how I was doing that. And somebody I knew in church, shout out Lopez, man. I wouldn't be doing music if it wasn't for him.
Shout out
giving
Lopez.
me a lot of a lot of equipment and stuff like that growing up. I would say growing up probably around freshman year and stuff like that. But freshman, sophomore year. But man, I'll tell you what, man, it's all about making do with what you got, man. You know what I'm saying? And really keeping it half glass full.
Mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, for sure. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
like you don't hear, but
Yeah, it ain't half though, but it's still almost full though.
you get the principles. It's there.
It's still almost full though. You know what I'm saying? yeah. So we good, but
Second question.
yeah. So second question was
Second question was, what has music taught you overall?
yeah. So music, man, it's taught me. That's a very tough question to answer actually. Music has taught me a lot of things. It's taught me how to express myself in a healthy way. It taught me how to really be a listener. It taught me how to really like be very intentional with listening to not just frequency wise in terms of listening for a little tambourine in a song, but really listening in life. Like really listening in terms of
in conversation.
in conversation as well, right? Being able to hear and dissect what somebody is saying based on the verbiage that they use. Right. That's a big thing, and that's something you learn in music. And I've learned that certain artists, like I said, their intentions aren't always pure in their music, and I can tell that. But then there are certain artists that it is, right? Because you can tell just by their verbiage. You can tell by what words they choose to use, right? Instead of saying I'm being controlled, it's more so they'll say, well, I'm stuck in a rock and a hard place as I'm continuing to move forward.
I like that example, man.
Right. So it's like instead of it being like I'm again half glass empty, it's half glass full in the sense of your intentionality, right? So yeah, that's the best way I can put it. So that's what music has taught me is like how to really be a great listener, not just in music but also in life.
Right.
So yeah.
You listen to your environment. You listen to all your senses. You get what I'm saying? Smell, taste, touch.
No doubt.
You
No
feel
doubt.
me?
And again, I'm like
Feel.
when we could get into conspiracy. I'm not gonna get into all of that in terms of music, the music game, the industry, and all that stuff. But,
no, let's not do that.
yeah, but I do understand. I do know. I'm aware of things. And when you talk about that sort of business, it's all about your intentions. Life is all about your intentions.
Yep.
Period. It's a lot of corrupt things, like corrupt groups and all this other stuff that goes on. But it's like you have to be keep your intentions pure and keep your focus on like the foundation of what you built it off of. Remember we was talking about foundation. So the foundation of my music is to love. It's to spread love. It's to be an example of one that walks in love and in the light of the truth. And I think that the reality is that a lot of people they make music to make money, to do whatever, get all these things or accolades or whatever. And again, when you build your house on a shaky foundation, it's going to collapse when tribulation comes, right? So if the reason that you were going into it
I like that.
was for money, then literally
You already
once you
looking.
don't have money, the whole
You looking
house,
shaky, baby.
The whole house is shaky. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like this is not the reason why I started. So you have to make sure the reason why you're creating songs, the reason why you start things, the reason why you do things, get in any relationships, is pure. So that when things do get hard and things do get tough for you, then you stand firm on the reason. Right. You stand firm on the vision, and nobody can do anything without vision.
Right.
So
Man, that's deep.
yeah, but it starts from that foundation though. So yeah.
That's deep. So yeah, you got two mixtapes, right?
Yes, I
Two
do.
mixtapes.
Yeah, not albums, mixtapes.
Mixtapes.
Right. So
Mixtapes.
do you have
I got an
anything?
album on the way though.
Yeah. So let's get into it. You guys said we're on our way up out of here.
Yeah.
What's something that's coming kind of on the soon?
Oh man, I got a lot of stuff in the works. I got some music videos in the works. I got
You have any dates locked in or not?
No, I don't have any dates locked in for that yet. I do have a project I want to drop, a little EP before the end of the year at least, maybe an album. But I want to be very intentional behind that. I want to do a little release party and stuff like that. So I want to be make sure I'm.
Oh, that release
about
part,
it.
we
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
gotta be present on
you know,
there.
Keep y'all in the loop. You know what I'm saying? Keep y'all in the loop.
Yeah,
Got
for
that
sure.
coming. So a lot of songs I've been featuring with some big artists, some guys. You know, it's a guy in Rap a Lot. You know, records stuff like that. I know, and we finna work on some stuff. It's a couple things that I got going on right now. And some, all of that good stuff, man. But it's definitely, I look forward to it for sure. And but yeah, I don't have any dates locked in so far, but I'm gonna keep y'all posted for sure, man.
Yeah, man,
I got
real
a lot of
tough.
stuff. But yeah, y'all can check out all the stuff I got right now, man. I got a couple singles out. My music video for Same Page. That's my newest song that I dropped
Go check that out.
earlier this year. Go check it out, man. Go check out the video. Shout out OG Visions. This guy that I got connected to, man. Super dope. He helped bring the vision to life. So, yeah, and like I said, man, we just growing and we living life, man. So yeah, but that's what I got coming so far. Yeah, I got a lot of other stuff, man. On the
Okay.
list.
Yeah, man, we proud of you over here at
Lot
the
of
One
stuff.
Love
Real
podcast.
deal.
Hell yeah, and likewise, I was gonna tell y'all too, man. I'm really, it's dope what y'all doing, y'all. Obviously making things about love, trying to spread love, and obviously intentionally trying to be positive and
We ain't
spread
trying though.
You know what I mean? But just are. You know what I'm saying?
There we
Just
go.
and naturally, man. Like,
Gotta
and
stay like
that's something.
this.
But y'all allowing people to see that, though. You know what I'm saying?
most
Just how y'all are naturally and genuinely, and that's something that I can appreciate. That's why I wanted to be a part, man. Because like I said, I love y'all, y'all vibe and y'all energy there, man. And
Yes,
it's
a
definitely
lot.
something that I'm. Like I said, I think y'all doing a great thing, man. And like I said, who knows what the future holds? We'll have another interview later on, man. Well, we both just established, man. We both growing, man, and that's the goal. And I believe y'all are heading there, man. So yeah, for sure, bro. So it's a pleasure to be a part. For sure.
Man, so
Appreciate it.
anything you want to leave with the people? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, man. I mean, one thing I leave, man, is just number one, obviously, thank them for having me, and got a lot of things on the way, a lot of projects on the way, more business ventures and stuff like that. So just stay locked in with me. I know my Instagram, Filbert Music, and then also just to say, man, just live out love, man. Like whatever you do, you know what I'm saying. Whether it be you could be a doctor, lawyer. Whatever it is that you
Man,
do.
you could be a cashier. At the
You feel me?
gas
Cashier,
station.
bro. I promise you, like, I never forget this. This is an example before I go, man. Like, I was working security, and I don't work there no more. But I was working security, right? And boom, so, and I was just metal detecting people. But you would never imagine the amount of people that I encountered every day, and that I impacted their lives just from a 1 second. You know what I'm saying? Just from being nice, showing them, hey, I hope you have a good day today. Oh, how you been today? You been good? Okay, and them seeing that you just want to talk to them without personal gain. There's so many people
Yup.
that they just had these interactions and stuff, man, and it's just for
Very
their
true.
intentions aren't pure. So I say that to say, man, like, live out love and everything that you do, because even metal detecting, cashier, whatever, you say something, that can help somebody, or just say, hey man, I like your shirt, or hey man, you know what I'm saying, like, I hope you have a great day, or whatever it is that you see in that moment that's okay to say, like, and just, you know what I'm saying, try to encourage somebody, lift somebody up, even if you're doing something like that, because I've seen people tell me, man, like, thank you for you know what I'm saying, just being who you are, like, or just like you have such a beautiful smile. It helped me encourage me, like, just you being happy and you being, so I just say live our love, walk in love, and
Okay.
and spread love, man. That's
Most
the
definitely.
way
So
to live.
you gonna drop your tags one more time? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Without
man,
sending
no
people
doubt.
out.
So Filbert Music, You know what I'm saying? At Filbert Music, that's Filbert Music. You can also see me on YouTube. I got like my little mixtapes we was talking about on YouTube, and you know what I'm saying, on it's Mysteries of the World, Beautiful Prison. Those are two projects I really am proud of, though, man. And so definitely, if y'all want to check those out, I got a lot of songs. I'm probably going to be remastering and dropping again on iTunes as well, some of them. But for the most part, y'all check that out, man. And it's a lot more stuff to come, y'all. Like some stuff already been recorded, all this stuff. It's a lot more stuff to come, so just be on the lookout for sure. Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? You can find me on all platforms at Real Houdini. That's real.HUDENIN. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you go.
And y'all know, the Hazelot Cat, man. You know.
Hazelot Cat. No, for real though.
Y'all can follow me at dark_LBS_DG for Dargo. Make sure y'all go tap in with Dargo. Show love, show support, show love to Phil, my boy Filbert. You know what I'm saying? Show love to my boy Houdini. Man.
Hey, show love to Bloom Foods.
Facts. So shout out Bloom Food. No, hey, look, Bloom Food. I was there last night, man. I wanted to see you. You know, someone to come show love, spread the positivity.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see you, so hopefully I'll see you, Chester. And I'm sorry that I can't remember your wife's name right now. But when I do, we would definitely tap in, spread some more love. But it's the One Love Podcast, man. We love y'all. We hope y'all stay positive, man. Go do something productive. Stay creative.
Stay inspired.
Stay inspired.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Stay in love.
Right.
Yeah. Don't close off your heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, man. Much love, peace, prosperity, clarity, and gratitude to all the listeners. We give thanks for you watching. You know what I'm saying? Definitely like, comment, subscribe. Hit my G up on the music. You know what I'm saying? All platforms. Yes, tap in. Peace. Much love.
Peace.
Already. I'm too far gone. I'm in my own zone. Wanna be left alone. I don't think I like it. Tone steady, tryna hit my phone.
Yeah, man. Just like that, man.
Yes,
Just like that.
Yes, sir.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, bro, that was a good one, though.
No, it's
Hell yeah.
strong.
That was
That was that best one by far.
really wow, bro.
Most energy.
Yeah, I can feel it when we was talking.
Yeah,
I was
dude.
I was like,
so much flow.
Dude, that shit, yeah. That was dope, bro. That was a hell of a good conversation, bro. I had no doubt it would be.